Hi, good morning. It's the start of a brand new reading vlog. I'm always so excited to begin reading vlogs. And I don't know if collective reading vlogs is the reason why I'm reading faster these days. Am I just really in the mood for reading? Anyway, we are approaching spooky season. I know it's still several weeks from now, but I thought a good way to transition slowly to that phase would be to read fantasy books. This looks so ambitious, but I'm feeling really good about this pile because it's a good mix of YA, middle grade, adult fantasy. First book that I'm gonna be reading for this vlog will be Wing of the Locust by Joel Donato Jacob. This is a Filipino author. This has been recommended to me by Willow Wonders, so I have really high expectations for this book. Also, I think I won't ever shut up about how gorgeous the book cover design is. Like, hello. Up next will be a book that I bought last year, but really haven't gotten the chance to read for some reason I don't know. This is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and I don't know, I've heard nothing but great things about this book, so I'm not even gonna lie, I really have high expectations for this book too. Third book on my reading list is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. And because of all the raves and the hype surrounding this book, I can't help but, predict this to be a 5-star read. And also because Susanna Clarke is such a great writer. And this is a winner of the Women's Prize for Fiction, so... And then the final book that I'm gonna be reading for this vlog is The Glass Down Game by Catherine M. Valente. I placed this last because it's the biggest book in the pile. This is a chunky book. But yeah, this is middle grade fantasy. And Catherine M. Valente has a really poetic way of writing. So I'm also very much looking forward to reading this book. And here goes my fantasy reading list. I'm gonna start reading right away because I'm so excited. I finally finished Wing of the Locust, and where do I even begin? First of all, allow me to just apologize because I'm not really sure what made me go to this book with the presumption that this is a middle grade story. It's not a middle grade story. Wing of the Locust is a high fantasy coming of age set in pre-colonial Philippines, and probably has one of the best world building that I have ever read in any books ever. I thought this is just gonna be, you know, a quick read that I can finish within a couple of days, but this took me an entire week to finish. And there are moments when I will just really pause because, wow, this is really the kind of passion in world building that we deserve. If someone is gonna reimagine pre-colonial Philippines or how we are if we were not colonized by any race, this would have been how beautiful we are. But yeah, this is really quite a difficult read. I will talk more about this later. I gave this 4 stars. Really enjoyed it and quite an unforgettable experience indeed. I'll talk more about this later. For now, let's move on to my next book for this reading vlog, which is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Again, this is yet another critically acclaimed novel, and needless to say, I have really high expectations, so fingers crossed.
Good morning and happy birthday to me. It's been a few hours since the clock has struck midnight. It's officially my birthday right now, so I'm really excited. And it's a weekend. How perfect. Also, exactly the day before my birthday, I finished reading The Sorcery of Thorns. Yeah, I've heavily tabbed this book as well. Did I love it? I liked it. I realized something while I've been reading this book. I don't know, perhaps I'm really coming to terms with the reality that extreme world building or magic systems that are too abstract perhaps aren't really my thing. I'm probably just too dumb, to grasp the awesomeness of this kind of stories, but I can see how some people would love it, but perhaps it's just really not for me. I'll probably think more about this for a few more days, but in the meantime, let's move on to my next book. Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I'm almost so scared to say that I'm also predicting this to be a 5-star read, because from what I've been hearing so far, even though a lot of people like this book, a lot of people love this, and a lot of people have given this 5 stars rating. Some people are saying that this has a very slow build-up, or it would begin really slow pace. And since it took me unexpectedly a longer time to finish Sorcery of Thorns, I'm not quite sure if I'm in the right headspace for Piranesi. But, you know, it's my birthday, so I will hope for great things nonetheless. Isn't this an excellent gift to myself?
This is like mild hot.
Mild. Oh. It's like here.
I like this.
Oh.
No.
Genuine reaction.
We're burning.
But this is still tolerable.
Yeah.
You know? I was really afraid, you know what? Very traumatic Ace Waters. Because Ace Waters pa.
It'll activate your body's molecular
Molecular spell. It's too much. Oh my... Wait. Wait lang.
Cauldron.
Ah! Can I scream? Is it soundproof? Lord.
Wait.
Ah!
Una na.
Look at that! It's a furnace! We can't last.
We get this. Umalis na eh.
Ah! Wait.
I can...
Ouch! Can people hear me scream?
They can't help you.
The charcoal is the name of the room. alam ko ano yung purpose. Bakit tayo nagkaganon? Kalpasin eh. We finally had the ice cream to ourselves. Oh,
Refrain from touching. I'm sorry.
refrain from touching what? It's the end of September. I got really, really worried, to be completely honest, that I wouldn't be able to finish this TBR on time. But I did. But does it matter when I know very well that I'm going to edit and post this video so embarrassingly late? Anyway, this set of books might be... No, as a matter of fact, definitely the most... I hate this word so much, but it's the most interesting set of books that I've encountered for the year 2022. These are not bad books, okay? Let me just put it out there. Let me just preface it that way, because I've given these books fairly decent ratings, you know? It's just that they made me learn a lot, realize a lot about myself as a reader when it comes to the fantasy genre overall. Wing of the Locusts. I've already raved about and spoke very highly about the level of attention to detail and creativity given to the world building of this book. I've given this 4 stars. I really wanted to give this book a perfect 5, but the blame is totally on me. You know, this is totally not the book's fault. I love, respect, and appreciate gorgeous, atmospheric, and excellent world building, but I don't know, I'm realizing that my brain can only handle so much, can only do so much when it comes at the expense of the world building overshadowing the plot, the characters, the message. Which makes me quite a little sad, because Wing of the Locusts features such a stunningly vibrant and yet gray set of characters. I have such a terribly short attention span, so when it reaches the point when I'm already, let's say, 80% into the book and I feel like the focus is still on the world building, I really couldn't help it but feel like I wish it could have, spent more time telling me more about the characters instead. They're my favorite thing about this book. As a matter of fact, I want to read to you something There's one particular scene here that I wish I could read to you, but it's kind of spoilery because it's somewhere in the middle, already towards the end of the book, that I really, really love and really got me so mind blown. But for those who had a copy of this book, it's on page 159. If you know, you know. Instead, I'm gonna read to you something towards the early part of the book just to, tell you how much I really love the characters in Wing of the Locust. Highly recommend. This is not to say that I had no choice in the matter. There are others, but to be able to hear the music is one thing, and to make it is another. To dance to it is also another. The others will grow up and never recall having ever heard the music, and that's alright. That would probably be better for them. I chose you to be my apprentice because Tuan understood. Muhen sang about how short a life it is to toil the earth and feed one's family, day in and day out. He asked the bees, "What are wings for if one cannot fly away?" At first the bees responded in a trickle, and then they streamed toward Muhen. Some of them landed on Muhen, partly curious and investigating, but also reassuring and welcoming. Without bothering to turn to Tuan, Muhen said softly, so that Tuan had to strain to hear. "I chose you because you were unhappy with what you were, and that will drive you to become someone better." Right? Second book that I've read for this reading vlog is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Watterson. And I've already talked about how this is the book that made me realize and learn my capacity, my threshold, my limit when it comes to absorbing excessive world building. At the end of the day, I'm a plot girl, I'm a character girl, I'm a message and themes girl. Am I a world building girl? Anyway, the thing I like most about this book would be some of the characters, And by some, I mean to say Silas and Nathaniel Thorne. Meanwhile, our protagonists, I am a firm believer that one of the burdens of a protagonist character is, carrying the message or embodying the theme that the book, the novel, wanted to send out, And that's why I'm giving this book 3.5 stars, because a lot of the time that I was reading this book, I was craving, I was yearning for the focus, the heavy attention given to world building to be proportionate to the character design at least. I needed more personality, more insight into her motivations, her flaws, anything that will make her character unique and memorable. It's heartbreaking how a book about books made me feel so confused and conflicted, because what exactly is the message it was trying to say? That not all books doesn't have to have a message? Low-key, that's the same heartbreak that I experienced with the Glassdown game, because this is supposedly about aspiring storytellers, and it didn't let me down when it comes to the quality of the writing style, because Catherine M. Valente's writing is just powerful, beautiful. All the superlatives that I could think of, definitely she deserves. But oh man, it's such a struggle to like her characters in this book, because I mean, I don't know. I guess you're aiming to be realistic by presenting flawed characters. But there's one character in particular, one of the siblings, the only boy in the four siblings, is so incredibly misogynistic. Like, I get it that you have such a strict, difficult upbringing, because you have such a conservative father. But I don't know. I just struggled with accepting the reality that someone so young can be that prejudiced against the opposite gender. And that's his personality trait from the very start of the book all the way until the end. Some people might argue that there might have been bits and pieces of character development in the middle, but no. That's his entire personality trait, nothing else. For someone so young, that's his defining characteristic. And even the other sisters though, I don't know. I feel so conflicted because this is marketed as middle grade, I believe, or even if it's YA, they don't talk like people their age. So I get it that this is fantasy, that this is magical realism, so it doesn't have to have that level of credibility. But at the end of the day, what kind of message are you trying to send out to your readers is what I'm concerned with. If anyone has ever read this, do you really feel confident that a young reader could really understand and grasp? Perhaps only a select few, but I don't know. I guess I just really wanted to believe that there's a way to flex your writing style without losing accessibility, without being so difficult, without being so pretentious. Anyway, if you're someone who is heavy into writing style flex, why not? Why not give this a try? This is the third book that I've read, but I really wanted to end this vlog in a positive note, in a happy note, because Piranesi by Susanna Clark is my favorite book in this TBR. I gave this book 5 stars. This is the book that really redeemed September for me. I'm so thankful about this book. I'm also incredibly grateful for all the booktubers that I've watched who reviewed this book for stressing out that it's best to head into this book with as little information as possible. So if you're planning to pick this up, don't research anything. Just buy it and just trust the hype because it totally deserves. See, this is what I mean when I say you can be straightforward and still flex your writing style. Because what it established for me, this book, is how Susanna Clark really proved that she is such a versatile writer. If you've read her book before this, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, no one can question how vastly different that book is from this book. From the sheer length alone, and the fact that that novel is so broad, encompassing, harrowing, so grandiose in all terms, and this one is so simple, so intimate. I am so impressed. I am so impressed that she can be a totally different writer and still have that same level of excellence. Goals. This is such a powerful, thought-provoking exploration of solitude, societal interactions, academic pursuit, mental health, so many topics. And I'm just so incredibly swept away, so invested, and I really, really got so immersed with the emotions, the perspective of the character or protagonist. So, as you can see, this has everything that I've been craving for on the 3 other books that I thought was, missing. I found it all here. Piranesi is the kind of book that really becomes a redemption of the genre, because if you ever feel like giving up on fantasy, this is the kind of book that makes you hold on to hope that perhaps there's still so much more that you can look forward to. That you can never dismiss and you can never close your door on a genre forever. There's hope.
They're not comfortable to contemplate. They seem to be in pain, struggling to be born. The struggle may be fruitless, and yet they do not give up. Their heads are extravagantly horned, and so I have named them the Horned Giants. They represent endeavor and the struggle against a wretched fate. Is it disrespectful to the house to love some statues more than others? I sometimes ask myself this question. It is my belief that the house itself loves and blesses equally everything that it has created. Should I try to do the same? Yet, at the same time, I can see that it is in the nature of men to prefer one thing to another, to find one thing more meaningful than another.
5 stars! And this is the end of my September, the end of my birthday month. I honestly don't know how long it will take me to edit and post this video, but I really hope I get to post this before the year ends at least. I hope you guys are still having a great time. I hope your 22 is still not that terrible. And I hope you're reading great books. Thank you so much for watching this, and see you on my next one.